Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Saturday. I've been moving the times, you may have noticed. I've been moving the times around on these lives a little bit. Because I was always doing them on Thursday nights, but I think I'm moving the times around a little bit just to see if we can get, because we've got people all over the world these days in our group, and I want to try and be inclusive to everybody, and obviously doing it at the same time I know there's always a replay, but obviously doing it at the same time every week excludes some people permanently, and we don't want to do that because we're all about the love, right, and the inclusivity. So anyway, firstly, what I'm going to say is bear with me. I'm fighting off a bug I've had for a few days, so I wouldn't say I'm exactly 100% or 1,000%, but I'm on the up, I would say. So send me some love, send me some energy, send me a hug. But I'm looking forward to this today. If you are hey Frank, let's get unstuck. What we're going to look at today is actually what does it mean to be stuck. So if you're how you doing, Frank? Good to see you again. If you are on here, give us put in the comment box where you are checking in from, because I think Frank's in Florida, maybe. I might have got that wrong. I hope not, Frank. I apologise if I have. So let us know where you're checking in from. What makes these lives? If you're watching live, you can hit comment live. If you're watching the replay, you can comment replay. What makes these lives different and better is you can sit here. Oh, Florida. I was good. Thanks, Frank. I was good. Hi, Carol. Are you back? Are you back in Guernsey? Terry's watching the football, is he? Okay. So we're just going to go through today. What does it mean to be stuck, right? Because I do a lot of these things about getting unstuck and finding purpose and things like that. Oh, hi, Bev. Ed's busy today as well, isn't he, Bev? Sorry, I just went on a ramble. Not on a ramble, but went off tangent then. What makes these lives different is the comments. So if you've got comments, things you think you're going to add, because I'm always up for people adding their knowledge and their wisdom, or if you've got questions. So the things, I can share a few things with you, and I will do, obviously. But the things that make these... Oh, Ian, you've made it. Cool. Costa Rica. Buenas tardes, señor. Is it? No, actually, no, it's morning, isn't it? Buenos dias. It's morning where you are. I think it's 6 hours, so what time is that? Buenos dias. Buenos dias, señor. ¿Qué tal? The thing that makes these lives different is, if you've got any questions or comments, then that's that you want me to cover in relation to what we're talking about, because that makes it coming from you, right? And that makes it, in real time. Buenos dias, buenos dias. 9:33. Muy bien. Muy bien. Muy bien, yeah. Muy bien. Well, I say that. I have got a bit of a cold, so maybe I'm not. Frank, our house burned down on 11th of January. Grab your nutsack and move on. Life goes on. Very good. Very good advice. You could have you said, Frank, you could have, thought, well, that's it. We're stuck. We're fucked. Our house is burned down. And, we're stuck and we can't move on. But you've decided to grab, as you say, grab your nutsack and move on. Exactly right. So what I'm going to do is sorry. What I'm going to do is I've got a few things here. Like I said, if you want to make comments and I can react to them, then that makes it more about you. And I will check in on the comments here. But we're always talking about what it means, what you do to get unstuck. But it struck me yesterday when I was talking to somebody on a call that actually this whole, what does it actually mean to be stuck? And it sort of struck me that this feeling of being stuck is like was like quite a, we put it seems like there's quite a heavy weight of negativity on it, and it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't have to be negative. Frank, I've failed time and time again only to succeed. So yeah, I mean, Frank, you're taking it the right way. Some people would say that, failure is that failure is just an indication of that you're on the right path and you need to try again, or it's something to learn from and all that kind of thing. Obviously, we don't want everybody's house to burn down because that's, something that's outside your control. But it sounds like you are fully embracing it and moving on with it, which is fantastic. So, what does it mean to be stuck? So I've written a few questions. So I wanted to take the weight away from it being a really, really negative thing. And I really must watch the time today because I've got a 4:00 appointment. So, so first of all, some of the things that I want to take the weight away from it being really, really negative because, a few of these things I'm going to talk about, they're like Frank was talking about then. These things are pointers and indication in our life, and I want to really, really emphasize the fact that it doesn't mean that if you're feeling stuck, it doesn't mean that you've got a really shit, awful, fucking terrible life, right? Or it doesn't mean that you're a failure in some way, and it doesn't mean that in some way. I'm just checking the candle left. So you left a candle burning. Okay, Frank. Well, you've learned a lesson there, right, Frank? And for everybody else, don't leave the candles burning because you could burn your house down, which, we're not laughing at, but it's like, there's a lesson there. So I want to move away from the fact that, to have this real weight on the fact that being stuck is a massively negative thing, because it isn't. It isn't a massively negative thing. And I'll go through some of the feelings you might have, but it just might mean that you're ready for the next level, that you're ready for the next option, that you're ready for something new. And there's nothing negative about that, right? So I want to move away from the fact that there's a feeling of being stuck as in like a big negativity, or in some way a lack of success or a lack of failure. It might be that you feel like that, but it also might be that you just want more. And there's nothing unsuccessful about wanting more from life. So what are the things? So here's a couple of things that you might be experiencing in your life, right? That might have you thinking that you might be a little bit stuck. I've written down a few things here. So one of the first ones, and I hear quite a lot, is that you're feeling like you're in a bit of a rut. You're lacking life or direction or purpose, and you want to move forward. And we've talked about these kind of things, purpose and direction, before. So if you've got these things, and these are just, I wanted to share these things today, just for you to think to yourself, do I feel that in my life? And if so, maybe I am a little bit stuck. And then I've done loads of lives before about how you can get unstuck and move forward, and come back to me and I can send you some replays. But what I thought would be useful today is to actually pin down what it's like if you are feeling a little bit stuck. So feeling like if you're in a little bit of a rut, feeling like you've got a bit of lack of direction or lack of purpose, or you're unsure how to move forward. Now, if you have got those things, again, it doesn't mean like you can be in a rut and be a highly successful person, but you want more, right? It doesn't mean, again, it's not negativity. So I want to really shift the emphasis on it just being not such a negative. Not such a negative thing. I need to slow down a bit. I've got water. Let me just check in on our comments over here now. I need some water. Okay, so that's one of the things. So if you're experiencing those things, like you're in a rut, you've got a lack of direction or lack of purpose, or you're unsure how to move forward, if those are manifesting in your life, then you might be a little bit stuck. None of those things are a real bad thing. All of these things in our life have come as indications or pointers as to something that might just need to be attended to. Areas of your life that you might be feeling a bit stuck, or all those things I said above, could be your relationships, could be your job. Another thing that comes along if you're feeling like you might be a bit stuck is that, and I think this is, overwhelm is one, so not knowing which way to turn next. And And another one that you hear people as well. I hear people talking about. Um, I've got a lack of motivation, or I've got low energy, and the reason where these things show up is because motivation and energy come a lot of the times from obviously the things we do: good sleep, good diet, good exercise, but actually they come from within. You've got an endless well or something that when you're stuck, excuse me, when you're stuck, you're not tapping into that universal energy, where you're not doing something purposefully, you're not doing something with passion. And when you're doing it in those, when you're checking in on those kind of things, Frank says spiritual enrichment might be added to the mix. Yeah, exactly what that's a great comment, Frank. When you've got that spiritual enrichment, so if you're looking for something more, or you feel like you're not getting that, you might feel stuck. You might not be feeling you got your spiritual enrichment. So you think places in your life that you can be stuck are spiritual enrichment, like Frank says. Could be job, could be relationship, it could be that you're overwhelmed. And again, these are not bad things, and all those things are not mutually exclusive. You don't need to have them all together. There can be one or two things individually that might they might be showing up in your life, and you might think to yourself, well, I don't have the energy and I don't have the motivation. And I just wanted to talk to you about this today, because it might be that you're feeling a bit stuck, right? But maybe you haven't labelled it, because maybe you think feeling a bit stuck is a bit negative, and and I like saying it over and over again. But I want to get away from the fact that feeling stuck is a negative thing. So another one I've written, and this might be coming back to actually where you're wait a minute, I'll straighten my hair. Here we go. Oh, I'm a mess today. What's going on? So another thing that might be have you feeling like you're a little bit stuck is feeling like you're not living up to your true potential. And again, like, that's not a negative thing. It just means that you want more for yourself. You've got more to give. You've got more, out there, and it might be to give to yourself. It might give to your family. It might give to your friends. It might be to give to a wider community. But if you've got that feeling like you're not living up to your true potential, that can be quite a heavy feeling. Now, it might be there's a lot of processes we can use to actually pin down what your true potential is, but we're not talking about those things today. And like I said, we've got previous lives that I can point you to. But these might be one of the things that's making you feel like you're a bit stuck, that you haven't actually identified. So feeling like you're not living up to your true potential. So what else did I write here? Feeling like you're stuck in life can be challenging to find motivation and energy. We talked about that. But also it can be feeling like you're finding it difficult to make the correct changes and take the right steps. And so moving on from what we talked about already, like the overwhelm and where you are in life, this is what really came up when I was on a call yesterday, is that it might be that you've got like a shitload of options, right? And you've got loads of skills, loads of talents, loads of options, and you just don't know which one to take next, right? So the fact that, again, with this, the fact that you feel stuck, it's not a negative thing, because you've got, I could do this, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. And it might just mean that you're stuck because you've got so many options in your life, with so many things you want to do. Your heart is, and your brain and your heart and your energy is on fire with all these different options, but actually your stuck feeling is not knowing which path to go down. So again, that's not a negative thing, right? That's a hugely positive thing, that you've got a shitload to offer and you might not know, so you might feel a little bit trapped by all your options and which path to go down, and which direction to go in first. And I always I think there's a phrase, I think it's something like every journey starts with the first step, right? I think I probably butchered that, but it's something like every journey starts with the first step, maybe. Every journey starts with the first step. I actually think there needs to be an addition onto this phrase. And I think the addition onto this phrase is every journey starts with a first step in the right direction. Because yeah, you could start on a journey, but it doesn't take long and not take many steps going in the wrong direction before you're properly off track. So it could be that you're feeling a bit stuck because you've got loads and loads of options and you don't know which one to take. So I'm just sharing all these things with you to hopefully some of them will resonate with you, to think that's something, that's how I feel in my life. But I didn't realize, because I felt like that maybe I'm a little bit stuck with something. Frank, what do you got here? Making changes easier said than done. It is easier said than done, although be wary that we don't want to put the energy into making changes is hard. So it is. You quit cigarettes on the 28th of December. Brilliant. Like really good. An amazing thing to do. Like your comments there, Frank, you know, like, again, we're talking about making changes. And there was a little piece that came up there that just popped into my head, that sometimes making changes. So we're talking about situational stuff in here that's kind of like, if you feel like this, you might be stuck. If you feel like that, you might be stuck. If you have too many options, you might be stuck. If you're not living to your true potential, you might be stuck. If you feel overwhelmed, you might be stuck. If you're lacking energy, if you're lacking motivation, you might be stuck. And it just struck me then with your comment there, Frank, which is why I love people making comments so much, because then we can kind of change things on the fly. Good habits, tough versus to acquire versus bad habits. Yeah, I mean, negativity can be a lot more powerful than positivity, Frank. So you're right. But what struck me then in the comment then is, which I kind of haven't included in here on what I wrote down, is that the stuck part can be a thought. Okay, so it could be a thought process and a thought pattern that you've got in your mind that's actually preventing you from moving forward. So there might be that the only real reason that you're a bit stuck in life is that you've got a limiting belief. It's only something that you believe you can't do something. And it comes up when I'm working with clients, and I try and pick it up as soon as possible, as soon as I hear it, is that when if you hear yourself saying these things to yourself, like, I couldn't do that, I could never do that, that's not for me, that's for somebody else, I'm too old, I'm too young, I haven't got the education, I didn't go to college, I don't have the money. Being stuck could come down to a thought process as well. Now, again, if it's a thought process, as Frank said, some thought processes and some habits are easier to get over, and some are a bit more difficult. But I'm also very wary of how much emphasis we put on what's hard and what's easy, because, like with the thought process, with that we can keep ourselves stuck by saying something is really difficult. We can convince ourselves it might mean that we're going outside our comfort zone, so we're building up barriers ourselves and making it more difficult. Let me just write Ian. Hi Ian. The moral comes from the boy, the mole, and the fox, and the horse. The moral comes from the boy, the mole, and the fox, and the horse. Can you see the next step? Can you see the next step? Yes. Then take the next step, said the horse. Yeah. Hey Sarah, you're welcome. Lots to think of. Yeah, welcome. Where are you checking in from, Sarah? So yes, what Ian's saying is, I'm just going to paraphrase it because you can read it yourself in the comments, right? What Ian says, it is all about taking the next step. And there's, I think, what you're talking about, the boy, the mole, and the fox. That's quite a long story, I think, Ian, isn't it? I think I've heard it before. Can you see the next step? Yes. Then take the next step. And that's the point. We don't want to but getting yourself unstuck, so we're kind of drifting, getting into unstuck a little bit, but that's fine. But if you've got a negative thought pattern in your mind, that's something that could be keeping you stuck as well. And so if you want to bring awareness to the fact that if you think about something you want to do, and you've got a purpose, you've got a plan, or you want to change something, then I would. And again, this is on the fly because I hadn't written this in my notes, but it's perfectly relevant and it's been brought up by you guys on here today. In that it could be just a mentality that's keeping you stuck. So when you think about something that you want to do or something you want to change, it could be a job, it could be a boyfriend, it could be a girlfriend, it could be a partner, it could be where you live. I think it's important to think of what is going on inside my head. All right? Is it merely my thought pattern that's keeping me stuck? Is what's fucking me up and keeping me exactly where I am only something that's going on between my ears? So that's a really, really important factor as well, in that limiting beliefs will keep you Ian, yes it is, a book of direction. Okay. Excuse me. So Ian, if you could post that book in the comments, or then that might be useful to everybody else. If it's a book about direction, that'd be massively helpful. So we're going off, and Sarah, our minds have to be simple, not a trash can full of garbage. Yes, being simple in thoughts and actions, we return to the source of being. Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of we drifted onto this thought process and thought pattern here, and let's face it. Excuse me. Everything starts with a thought, right? Or a feeling. So it's really important. Excuse me. It's really important. Shaking off the rest of my bug here. It's not COVID, by the way. It's really important to understand that there's all these levels to what we're doing today. If we're feeling stuck, it could be if we think we're stuck, it could be a feeling. It could be because we're not taking action, and excuse me, it could be because of what's going on inside our head. It could be a thought process. Ian says the book "The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse" by Charlie Mackesy. So check that one out. But yeah, we kind of quite happily drifted onto the fact that there's a physical, emotional, and a kind of spiritual or connectivity level to all of this feeling of what might be keeping you stuck. So there might be a physical reason why it's keeping you stuck. There might be an emotional reason that's keeping you stuck, but there might be a conceptual or a thought reason that's keeping you stuck as well. You might also feel like you're trapped in a cycle of negativity and you can't see the way out. So that would encompass everything. That might be a negative thought. It might be you don't see your way out, and you can't feel your way out of a situation. So all of these things, I hope this isn't a bit too jumbled up, but all of these things, if these are appearing in your life, Frank says get off the pity pot. Yeah. If any of these things that we talked about, sorry, I know it's not, I'm not great today because I'm getting a bit jumbled up. If all of these things, if any of these things that we talked about today are appearing in your life, it might mean that you are a little bit stuck, although you didn't realise that those things, sorry, those things could be keeping you a little bit stuck. So that is what I want today to be about, is to bring awareness of the things that could be going on in your life that are actually keeping you stuck. If you've got a lack of motivation, a lack of energy, a lack of direction, and the negative thought processes in your mind, they are things that could be keeping you stuck. As I said, we don't want to make them negative. We're just going to bring them to our awareness and use them as indicators that we can do something about it. Because with everything in this field, in the field of personal growth, in the field of personal development, and this is what I say with working with my clients, the first, and why I wanted to do this live today, is the first stage for anything is awareness. And until we've got awareness, so whether that's awareness of our physical position, our energetic position, our emotional position, or the thoughts that are going in our head, until we bring awareness to them, then we can't change anything, because then we're running on subconscious. So this is exactly why I wanted to bring this to this live today. Sarah, what practices do you use to stay focused on inspiration and dreams rather than lack mentality? Okay, good question. And I see your comment there as well, Frank, and I'm going to go back to come back to that in a second. So what practices do I personally use? Okay. So I do use a very small amount of meditation, and I honestly only most of the time do 3 minutes. All right? And I do a 3-minute heart-brain meditation, and that's just to connect to heart and brain. And you can, if you type into Google heart brain meditation, you're probably going to get a very short. You can get a very short meditation that connects your heart and your brain. So I do that every morning, and then what I do at the same time, what I've got over there, which you can't see me pointing, but it's over there, is I've written out everything on a sheet that I want, my dreams and desires. I've written out on a sheet, and what I do while I'm meditating is on a big piece of paper, I don't know, maybe A1 paper, is what I do while I'm meditating is I put my feet on my piece of paper, and I can feel the energy of what I've written on that piece of paper tingling in the bottom of my feet. We're getting like into another realm over here now, but I love it. And so I do that every morning, and then I've got another, like an affirmation about my life that I actually read out loud. And the reason I read out, because this is all about building energy and purpose and vibration. So the reason I've got an affirmation, the reason I read it out loud is because when I read it out loud, not only can I feel the energy, not only can I picture the image in my mind, but I can actually feel the vibration in my body, like I do now. And when I feel the vibration in my body, then that's another layer to what I'm doing. So there's a physical, there's a mental, a visual, a spoken, and a physical feeling of what I'm talking about. So I read the things that I put on my chart, I read them out loud so I can actually feel it inside me. So that's what I do to keep myself on track, and I do that every morning. One thing is a really good thing to do is to get the junk out of your head before you go to bed at night. So a lot of people journal the crap from the day out of their head, and also journal some stuff at night before you go to bed that's been positive about the day, and that way you're going to sleep on a good thought. You can also write down thoughts in the evening before you go to sleep. You can give your brain something positive to work on, your subconscious, overnight. So when you wake up in the morning, you haven't just got the trash, as you said, Sarah. You haven't got trash just floating around in your subconscious. So clear the trash out and then put some fresh input before you go to sleep is a good way to keep your inspiration. You mentioned dreams. Well, literally let your dreams think about it at night before you go to sleep. Frank, thoughts and feelings help you make a decision. Your decision should be based on pure motives. Think about exactly what your pure motive is. Yeah, absolutely. Frank, when we find out, and this is moving into how you can kind of get unstuck, but why not? We're here, so fuck it, why not? Let's talk about it. All the other things that we talked about so far. So if you are feeling stuck, like that lack of motivation, that lack of energy, that lack of purpose, the voices in your head, the negativity, not seeing a way out, all of those things manifest in your life. When you come from a place of understanding and getting clear and what it is, what you want to do, and you've got that purity, then the energy comes. And I always equate this, and that's why when I do my morning routine, when I do my they're not really affirmations, but when I go through what I want out of my life, when I speak it out, I know that that's coming from and a place of purity and a place of pure energy. And I'll give the game away for myself that when I do that, I get like goosebumps on my skin. And I'm actually getting that right now, because I know that what I'm doing right now for me is purity, purpose, and love. And so when I do that, when I'm on the right track, I get goosebumps, which I've got on my skin right now, because I know it's coming from a place inside me that's deep love and purity. So we are breaking into slightly, what moving forward, but fuck it, that's where we are. So I'm sharing that Ian. So Sarah, yeah, you feel it. Ian, hitting all the modalities. Thank you very much. Sarah, thank you so much. Love your energy. You're welcome. Like I said, these lives are made better by the interactions from the beautiful people that are on them. And I always know when we share, when I share the replay for these lives with other people, that they can see the interactions from the people on the live, because it's not just me talking about shit, right? Because I could talk about things all day, but when I'm interacting with people, and today I really need it because, like I was feeling, I mustered up the energy, but I must be feeling not great. That I love the input that I'm getting from everybody, because it's giving me the energy and it's giving me the buzz to be able to share more. So, Ian, I believe that is the key. Getting clarity. So many distracted thoughts, but getting clarity. Yeah, getting clarity is absolutely it, right? And we can talk about clarity. I'll talk about it again next week. Frank, I really needed this, Richard. You're welcome, brother. Thank you very much. Much appreciated you for your input, and much appreciate for everybody else. So I'm just going to round off because I have got a 4 o'clock call. If you've got another comment, put it in the box and I'll come back to you right now. But I have got a 4 o'clock call, 4 o'clock here in the UK. What I've written on the last note here is, with a little time, a little of effort, a little support, it is possible to break free from the feeling of being stuck and get clarity. So what I'm going to say is, and I wasn't expecting to do this, what I'm going to say is, on this call, all you beautiful people, I do, if you want to get some clarity, you want to work this shit out, you want to find out a bit more about purpose, energy, motivation, you want some love from me, you want some energy, I do a free 10-minute call. I'm happy to get on a call with you for 10 minutes, a quick call just to find out where you are, what you want to do a bit of unraveling, and see if I can help you. That's free. All you need to do is just write. You can contact me separately on a DM and question, and we can come backwards and forwards on messages. But if you want to call, just write 10-minute call in the comments box, and I will contact you, and then we can hook up a 10-minute call. And I know you're all over the world, but that's what I do. Sometimes I'm on calls at 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'm calling at 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm on UK time. So if you want to call and you want to work on the stuff we talked about today, just contact me, or just put 10-minute call in the comments box, and I'll get to you and we'll arrange a 10-minute call just to work some shit out for you. So there we go. Now I see Chantal on the call. Thank you. I really needed to hear this on clarity. Yeah, Chantal, absolutely. Clarity is the way forward. And sometimes we feel stuck because all the stuff is jumbled up and we just don't know which way to move forward. That's my job as a coach, to get clarity, to unravel things, to find out what's really important, and to take those, as Frank and as Ian said, take those first purposeful steps forward. And what Sarah said as well, and all the other beautiful comments, to take the first right step forward in the right direction. So, Sarah, many blessings, lots of love, and 10-minute call. Yes, thank you, Sarah. I will be on to you. So, thank you very much, beautiful people. You've made this a great live, and I'll see you again next time. So, thank you for your engagement. Bye-bye.